Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another video about everything you need to know if you're ever going to travel. This is everything I can recommend for you. I have been traveling all my life. I come from a family that loves to travel. My grandparents, my parents, the best way to travel. Personally, I've learned the hard way on what not to pack and things to do and just common knowledge on things that you should definitely know before, just to make your travels easier. My first tip would be check in before heading to the airport. If you don't know what a check-in is basically what you have to do on your airline just to make sure they know you're actually coming to the plane. Every airline is different, but they usually send you the information maybe 24 hours before your flight. They'll send it to you through email and they'll say like, hey, don't forget to check in. And if you don't get the email, you can just Google your airline and you just have to put the flight number and sometimes like your passport number. Reasons why it's good to check in before. First, if you're traveling on a flight where you don't have a seat number, it's good to check in before just so you choose the seat that you want. If you don't do it, you might end up with a middle seat. Another reason why it's nice to do it before, you're just more prepared. Always good to be prepared just in case if something happens. It's good if it doesn't happen, but just in case, you'll be glad that you were prepared. Checking in before gives that extra assurance that yes, you are taking a flight tomorrow, airplane ticket already, and you don't have to worry about anything. Checking in is good too if you are just traveling with just one bag, so you don't have to check in your luggage. If you already have your ticket, you can just go through security. And speaking of checking in luggage, that's our next prompt. If you are traveling on a big trip or you're taking a big luggage, the moment you walk into the airport, that's the first thing you have to do. Find your airline. There are big airports where they're just in different sections. You have to tell your Uber which terminal to leave you. If you don't do that beforehand, you're just gonna have to walk a whole way. You might end up losing your flight. So it's good to know which terminal is your airline in beforehand. You can just Google if you're not sure, but making sure that beforehand is also very good. But if it's just a small airport and there's only 2 airlines, you're good. Let's imagine your flight is in Southwest. They'll have a big sign. There's some machines where you can just check in by yourself and they'll print your ticket, your little tag for your luggage. Or if you prefer to do it in a more like person-to-person way, you can just go to the counter, give them your passport, they'll check you in, they'll have your ticket ready, your luggage tag. Most of the time when you want to have that face-to-face interaction, there's usually a bigger line. Speaking about the big luggage, it is very, very important to always have luggage tags. Once again, depending on the airline, they might have like paper luggage tags, but I don't recommend those because they don't last that long. So I highly recommend just having physical luggage tags for your luggage. There's a difference when it comes to luggages. You have your check-in baggage and you have your carry-on baggage. Check-in baggage is what you checked before security, what you leave to the people that take it to the plane that you're going to. But carry-on is the luggage that you can take through security, through the gates, through the airport lounge area. It's mostly like that small luggage that could fit in the upper cabinet on a plane or a backpack. And it depends, once again, with the airline, how much they let you bring. It depends on the weight. So sometimes that's another thing that you should highly do. Weight your luggage before you go to the airport. I've added here the right amount of weights, kilos for check-in and carry-on. So make sure you read this, pause this video so you can see all of it. You don't want to be those people that are trying to make sure the weight is distributed and people are like taking things off, things to the trash. You see it a lot, especially in Christmas time. A lot of families with a lot of gifts and a lot of weight. You can sometimes bring it on the plane, but you have to pay like a big amount of money in order to do that. So it's not even worth it. It's good to either throw away what you don't want or use all your luggages in order to like properly distribute the weight. So just make sure you check that beforehand. Liquids is a big part as well. If you're just taking a carry-on, usually lets you have 100 millimeters or less of liquids. There are some times where you can buy reusable bottles, but if you're having a check-in baggage, you can have as many liquids as you can, I think. But of course, you can't bring any weapons or anything. This is what most airlines would say is not allowed. Once again, it depends on the airline. Make sure you read about your airline beforehand. Another tip that I highly recommend, always have your passport and ticket ready to go for anything. I like to have my passport in a little folder just so it's very convenient and easy to show to security or anyone that needs it. And let's say this is your airplane ticket, right? So I usually like to have it like this everywhere. It's nice to always have it in your hand just in case, but make sure it never leaves your hand. Some places in security, they let you walk through the metal detectors with this in your hand, because this is like the most important thing to have. Like without this, you're screwed. And that brings me to security. Depends on the airport and everything. Some of them have huge lines. Some of them are very easy, very organized. If there's a huge line, I highly recommend just having everything ready, making sure all your electronics are out. Some of them tell you to take off your shoes, and then some of them I've seen mostly in Europe, if you have any liquids less than 100 milliliters, you have to put them in a plastic bag separately. If you want to make sure, I highly recommend getting the info beforehand of the airport that you go into, just because you don't want to be that person that takes so long and everyone in the line is looking at you and everyone's like, come on, hurry up. It's just easier for everyone just to be prepared and have everything ready. With electronics, they usually just tell me to take out my camera, my laptop, my phone, and my AirPods, and my Apple Watch. So if you have anything like that, put them in a separate bin. Put them separately, have that ready for the person, and do that first. Then put your luggage, make sure to close it just in case nothing comes out. And then on the next bin, shoes, jackets, that's loose, that you're wearing at the moment. I would say electronics first, just so it's the first thing you grab after you pass through the metal detectors. And this always in your hand. You pass through metal detectors, and that's the thing that I really not like. It bothers me so much. It's like basic etiquette. There's people that just hold up the line and decide they want to put their shoes back on, or they're just trying to put everything in their bag right there. Don't do that. Like, why? Grab all of your stuff, make sure it's there. Once you get through security, 5 steps, you will see some benches where you can sit down, put everything in order, and put your shoes on. Just because the people that are rushing it and putting everything together, it's just like, it's gonna make it worse. Put it nicely, however it was, and then just go to your gate. I swear, it's just gonna be easier if you don't rush. So you left your luggage, you passed through security, now what do? Check the screens. Check the screens frequently, all the time. Just because there are times where your gate is not the same number in your ticket. Sometimes they just out of nowhere change your gate number, or they change planes, or your flight is delayed, your flight is canceled. They've said that sometimes your flight could leave earlier. So it's always good to make sure that your flight is on time, that the gate number is still the same. So I usually like to go to my gate before I do anything else as well, just to make sure, okay, everything looks good, right on time, check. Okay, now I can relax. Now I can go to the gift shop. Now I can get some food. And when it comes to that, yes, the lounge area in the airport, there's a lot of things that you can do with your time. Most of them have free Wi-Fi. You can charge your phone. Once you pass security, you're good when it comes to food, drinks, water bottle as well. I like to get that because that's another thing. If you have a reusable water bottle, make sure there's no water before security because they're gonna dump it out. I always forget. So make sure you don't have water. Once you pass through security, you can refill it, buy a water bottle, whatever you need. And that's another thing, which is like a pro and con. If you are gonna buy something in the airport, they're mostly more expensive than a regular gift shop because they know that they can make money off of you. Make sure you know that beforehand. You forgetting a charger or anything like that, it's gonna be extra expensive. Another thing that I recommend, since there's free Wi-Fi, I like to download movies, music, podcasts before my flight. You can also download Google Translate, the language that you're going to, and Google Maps, and download the area or location you're gonna be at. Just in case once you arrive, there might not be any Wi-Fi, and then you still have to get like a SIM card or anything like that. This is the last time you're gonna have Wi-Fi for a while. So make sure you text your family and then make sure you have everything prepared before the flight. Okay, you're ready for your flight. Your gate is ready. Most people like to stand up just to make sure they have a seat on the flight. If it is, everyone already has a seat number. I don't understand why people have to stand up and wait for a while. I think it makes it more harder. If you know your seat number and if you know you're on time, you can just sit down on the waiting area and just wait for your zone to be called. So sometimes, just to make it more organized, the people that are boarding your flight, they'll say like, okay, Zone A is ready to board. Come on in. Zone B is ready to board. Come on in. Zone Z. You probably might have on your ticket Zone B. So make sure once they say your number or your letter, you can board the flight. Don't be one of those people that are just standing around making it more crowded. It's not worth it. And once you're inside the plane, the basic etiquette is to put your check-in baggage in the top cabinet above your seat. While you're waiting to board, I also recommend to already have the objects ready of the things that you are going to use in the flight, whether it's the AirPods, cell phone, book, anything like that. Have it in your hand, have everything ready, and then everything else, put it in your bag and then put it on top of the cabinet. There are some times, if your bag is smaller, where they let you have it underneath your seat. And I prefer that actually, just in case I forget something or I want to put something away, I can just like put it underneath me. And also because you don't want to disturb the people. If you're in the middle or the window aisle, you have to like stand up and then grab your stuff. When it comes to aisle seats, I prefer a window seat, to be honest. I can just sleep through the flight and have a little place where I can like lay my head. If I'm in a rush, like if I need to catch another flight, I use the aisle seat. It's easier to leave. So there's pros and cons, but never choose the middle seats. Especially if you're with strangers, it is just hard to like do anything. The aisle seat is also good if you want to go to the bathroom easy and you don't need to bother anyone. So yeah, pros and cons. So let's talk about your plane landing safely. You arrive to your new destination. And what do? Again, don't be one of those people. The plane lands, they stand up. No. Again, it depends on the airline. It depends on the people. It depends on what happens. I like to wait until the seatbelt sign is off at least. Once that's off, you can try to grab your stuff and yeah, make sure you don't get killed. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there's sometimes where people just are rushing and I get it if you are in order to get to your next flight, but there are some people that just like to push and shove for no reason. Don't be one of those people. So once you leave the plane, read the signs. Read everything, especially if you're in a foreign country. Read what it says, baggage claim or connecting flight. If you are going to another flight or you're just passing through this airport, go to connecting flights. If you are wanting to leave the airport, go to baggage claim. Baggage claim sometimes will lead you to your luggage first, but sometimes it will lead you to customs first. Customs is what you do before heading to a new country. People that are checking if you're legally allowed to be there. So that's where the passport comes in handy again. I recommend while you're walking through the new airport, you can grab your passport, the paper they might give you in the plane about things that you have to fill out. If you're a new person coming into this country, you can have it prepared with your flight ticket, anything like that. You can just put it inside and have it ready to go. And then when it comes to customs, again, reading signs, that's the most big thing to do. You don't want to make a mistake and then have to make a whole line again. Some of them say foreign to non-foreign. Some just put the flags. If that's the passport passport you have, go that way. If you're very lost, talk to someone, ask questions. It's better to be safe than sorry. Another thing that I really recommend if you're very nervous in customs. Sometimes I do that when it comes to customs. Like, I just get nervous and I'm just like, what do I say? What do I do? This is a good advice that my dad gave me also. Answer whatever they ask. That's it. Don't over analyze. Don't explain your whole life story of why you're coming to this country. They don't want to hear that. Just answer whatever they ask you, short and sweet. And that's it. Some of them might ask you more questions, such as what's the address of the hotel you're staying at? Where are you staying at? Make sure, in case that happens, have the printed address or have everything ready to go before you head to customs. Perfect. You made it through customs. Welcome to the new country. Another thing that I also recommend is to never leave a bag unattended. It is highly important to never do that. That's another protocol when it comes to airports. If someone sees an empty bag by itself, they might call security. You never know. There are many terrorist attacks in different countries and it just looks suspicious. Always make sure you have your bag ready, you don't lose it. When it comes to picking up your bag, you can also see the screens. It'll tell you your flight number, the destination you arrived from, or if you're really lost and you don't know where your bag is, I like to see where the people that I flew with are going. Sometimes if I see someone with like a bright pink shirt, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna head that way because he's heading that way. And yeah, there you go. You made it to your country. You survived the airport. You did it in a very safely and respectful manner. Congratulations. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any other questions that I forgot, please let me know. And if you like this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.